So, hello everybody. Today we are going to complete this chapter. Let's start. Documentation and quality of software. Inaccurate, incomplete, out of date, or missing documentation is a major contributor to poor software quality. That is why documentation and document control has been given due importance in ISO 9000 standards. SEICMM software Maruti model in SEICMM process model and assessment procedure. The goal is to improve the documentation process that has been designed. Uh, ma- maturity uh, maturity level and documentation process file is generated from the responses to an assessment instruction. So I pronounced it wrong. In third line, it's ISO 9000 standards, SEICMM software maturity model. Okay, it will be maturity model. Now comes here. So, a maturity level and documentation process profile is generated from the responses to an assessment instruction. One basic goal of software engineering is to produce the best possible working software along with the best possible supporting documentation. Empirical data show the software documentation, products, and processes are key components of software quality. Studies show that poor quality, out of date, or missing documentation are a major cause of errors in software development and maintenance. Although everyone agrees that documentation is important, not everyone fully realizes that documentation is a critical contributor to software quality. Documentation developed during higher maturity levels produces higher quality software. Good practices for documentation. Documentation is the design document. The time to document is before actually implementing any design. A lot of effort can be saved in such cases. Good documentation projects the quality of software. Many people take poor, scanty, or illiterate documentation for a program as a sign that the programmer is sloppy or careless of potential users' needs. Good documentation, on the other hand, conveys a message of intelligence and professionalism. If your program has to compete with other programs, better make sure that your documentation is at least as good as your competitors. So here we come to the end of this chapter, and you can check your progress answers in the description. Let's see what's in the summary. Summary: documentation is an integral part of software development process and should not be taken lightly. Incomplete and inaccurate documentation may pose serious hurdle to the success of a software project during development and implementation. The documentation process itself requires proper planning like the software development process. Various documents like System Requirement Specification (SRS), System Design Specification (SDS), Test Design Document, and user manuals are produced during the life cycle of a software development process. SRS documents the high-level requirements of the system without going into details of implementation issues, whereas System Design Document describes how the requirements are finally to be implemented. It also describes the implementation issues with help of various system design tools. Test design documents the requirement to be tested and procedure to be followed for testing. We have also discussed various ISO and IEEE standards on user documentation for union practices on documentation style and process. The relation of documentation with software quality has also been discussed. So here we come to the end of today's lecture. Till then, keep exploring.